Tucker Carlson today. General Hospital on ABC is one of the most dearly loved and longest running TV shows of all time. In fact, it may be the longest running, certainly in the running for that. On that show for the last 25 years has been Ingo Rademacher. He has played the character Jax from 1996 to 2021. He was recently fired from his job after a quarter century for refusing to comply with the injection mandate. He's now filing a lawsuit. Now, we were alerted to this by an Instagram video that he did. We want to open with this because it really sets the stage for the story we're about to hear from the man himself. But here's the video he put out to his fans. Watch.
This is about thanking you guys, the fans of the show, and also the General Hospital crew and cast. I was on the show for 25 years. They're like my family, a lot of the people there. And I was really hoping that I could play Jax for another 10 or 25 years. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen, obviously. So a lot of you come on there that say that you're vaccinated, but you stand for medical freedom. I love hearing that because I think it should be a choice. If you want to go get the vaccine, get the vaccine. If you think it's going to protect you, that's great. But you should be able to make that choice. I think we all need to fight this because I don't agree with vaccine mandates. Obviously, you already know that. I do not agree with corporations ever being able to mandate a vaccine to keep your job, to keep your livelihood. And a lot of people were coerced and forced into taking the jab. Otherwise, they would lose everything. And that's not a choice. That's coercion, and that is not freedom of choice at all. So I'm really frustrated with what's going on in this world right now. And this is what I want to say to all of you as well. Do not pass this fight onto your kids. Unfortunately, we're alive right now. We're the strong ones. We're the adults in the room. And we need to fight this.
Amazing. A lot of us found that really inspiring, both personally and ideologically. It's hard to remember a clearer declaration of what it is to be an American, made by a man who did not begin as an American. Actually, we're about to hear his story. Ingo Rademacher, we're really glad to have you. Thank you. I found that moving. About 20 people texted that to me, and I was really, so I'm grateful that you're here.
No, thanks for having me on the show.
So before we get into the details, before we get to the end of the story, or the current state of the story, let's begin at the beginning of the story. A lot of people watching that could detect a hint of an inflection in your voice. Where did you start your life? How did you get to where you are now?
Grew up in Germany.
Yes. Where?
Northern Germany, near Düsseldorf.
Yes.
And my parents, dad was a graphic artist and a school teacher, and my mom was, she had this crazy idea to immigrate to Australia in 1981 to live a self-sufficient lifestyle on a farm.
Ooh, I love her.
And, you know, they bribed me with a motorcycle that I saw the kids riding in Spain, because I saw the kids riding the little motorcycles, and they were like, well, you get a motorcycle, because I didn't want to leave. I had my cousins there.
Of course.
Who I love dearly still, and I'm... You know, it was my grandmother, us, and my cousins next door. 3 Rademacher houses in the village, and we kind of left, you know. So, and we left my cousins there, which was a real. I still feel, you know, sorry about that. But
yes.
Life in Australia was amazing. We bought a 400-acre or almost 400-acre farm with a river running through it in southern New South Wales. And
why did your mother want to do that?
Because they wanted to drop out of the consumer society already. I think they were 40 years early.
Yes.
They wanted to drop out of the consumer society and didn't want to participate in that anymore. My mother already saw it going the wrong way. So they wanted to kind of have Old MacDonald's had a farm, and we did. We had everything from the income, of course, we had to have as well, which 200 head of Angora goats, 50 head of cattle. But then around the property was an orchard, geese, chickens, horses, milking cows. My dad milked the cow every morning. So we'd have fresh milk. We'd make butter from that, cream. We did not have a TV, a wood-burning stove.
Oh.
And during that time, I really learned a lot of things, because it was from that amazing age, from age 10 to 13 and a half, where you really learn a lot, and you grow up and you become a man, right? I was doing half the tractor work with my dad, learning how to make fences, going, you know, we had a rabbit problem, so we'd go at night spotlighting and shoot rabbits, throw them to the dogs. And we had a 1-acre vegetable garden also down by the river, which was incredible. So it really was a self-sufficient lifestyle. And the whole point of this was my dad came to the breakfast table one morning and he said, look at this. This is all the trash for the entire week that has come out of this entire family. And it was in his hands.
Oh.
Which is, that was the whole point
I think
of doing
if you
that.
had said this 15 years ago, people would be like, oh, the Rademakers are a little weird. I think you say this right now, and I bet you a lot of people watching this are thinking, oh, I wish I could live that way.
And I'm thinking, maybe now is the time to start living like that again. My wife and I have been talking about it a lot.
So what happened? I think a lot of people were talking about that for sure.
Yeah.
And for good reason. So what happened? You grew up in Australia after the age of 11?
Yeah, so then that farm was a lot to handle. So then we moved to a place called Bundaberg. I don't know if you've heard of that. There's the little Bundaberg root beer that's in all the 7-Elevens now and all the gas stations. And I'm like, that's my hometown. Sugarcane town of 50,000 people. We had 20 acres there. We did some small crop farming there, which was also really cool to learn. I was a lifeguard in Australia for a little while there. It's a more tropical climate. And then I started modeling, did a year in Brisbane, a year in Sydney, and then I said to my Sydney modeling agency, could you send me out for one of those Australian soaps? And I got cast on a show called Paradise Beach in the early 90s, and I got the lead role on it. I kind of learned to act on that show. It really took me 6 months to figure out.
In your low 20s?
To not act. Yeah, I think I was 20 or 21 when I did that. And then that show got canceled after a year and a half. And then I came out to LA in 94, 95, got on General Hospital in 96, and have kind of pretty much been there the whole time. And, we were gone for like 5 years. We went to Hawaii in 2011. We lived on the Hawaii property for like 5 years and kind of just got out of the business. I was burnt out, actually. I was
tell us about,
super burned out.
One of the reasons I loved the principled position you took. I love your ability to explain why you're taking it. I love the risks you're taking, and I admire them. But I also, honestly, as someone who works in TV every day, I just always wanted to talk to someone who works on General Hospital about what it's like, because it's got to be, I think it's the single hardest job that there is in television. You're putting on effectively a Broadway play every day, but it's a brand new play. So what's that like? Like, what is the life like when you do that?
First, I want to say, too, it's an amazing show. It's a great show to work on. It's a lot of fun. The cast and crew, nobody has egos there. It's a great work environment.
People stay there for a long time.
They stay there for forever. I mean, I was hoping to be on the show for perhaps another 25 years. People have gotten really old. People have gotten really old on that show.
I know!
They have.
So cool.
And the fans of the show, the fans are really amazing because they see you every day. They're a really unique bunch, and they come from all walks of life, and they come from everywhere. They may have even infiltrated your producing team, which might be part of the reason I'm actually sitting here having this conversation with you.
We have at least two producers, one's in my ear right now, who are daily viewers of yours. I had no idea. They kept it secret. But when this happened, I sent your video around to everyone, and these two producers were like, oh, we watch every day! So cool.
Because look, to be honest, I don't think I'm the most qualified person to have this conversation. This is never something that I wanted to do. This whole lawsuit and everything. It's just not me. But going back to the show, you wanted to hear about how we shoot.
What is it like? So you make a brand new scripted production every day. So like, what is that like?
We do more than one episode a day now too. So I'll tell you the schedule, how it works. And first I got to say, I've been lucky enough to work with some of the best actors in daytime: Laura Wright, Maurice Bernard, Steve Burton, Eden McCoy, my daughter, and Cynthia Watros, who just came on the show from Lost. She came on from the show Lost, who was amazing to work with, and everybody else there. It's just really good acting, great writing. And you know how the soaps were dying about 10 years ago?
Yes.
They were kind of just canceling them. A new executive producer came on, Frank Valentini, and I got to give him a lot of credit for this. I know he's going to hate me, of course, for what I'm doing, but this isn't about the show. This is about going after corporations for these vaccine mandates.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, but I have to do what's right. So he came on, he kind of saved the show because they needed somebody that could budget. Because they're expensive, right? And the viewership kind of started dropping after the OJ trial. We kind of really got hit. Soaps got hit really hard with that. So now we shoot about 9 episodes a week. And what you have to do And that's to save money. We have I think we have about 12 weeks off per year. So the schedule in that way is great. You get a lot of time to spend with the family, but you also got a cram study. So how we do it, or how the better actors, of course, that come prepared do it, is you study really hard, you know your lines really well, and then when you come on set, you forget your lines, and you really just you have to.
But when do you study? What time do you wake up? I'm starting to get personal, but I can't resist. Like, so what time do you wake up? What's your day like?
The script really is the day before. You don't have time to read stuff a week. I mean, you can kind of scan over it maybe for the whole week if you have time. That's always good to know, so you know your story arc. But you don't really have a lot of time to prepare. So the night before, I would go over it, and then I would drive to work early in the morning at like 5 o'clock, and then sit in my room for like 2 hours and really cram, study it, and get it, just know it. And then I'll go run the scenes with the actor that I'm working with most of the time. And then you go up on stage, or in the mornings you block, you kind of know where you're going to stand and all that. And then you do the scenes, and it's rehearse, record.
Just one right after the other.
Yes, and you have 5 scenes in one set, like here. We have 5 scenes. You rehearse one, you record one. You rehearse one, you record one. And you have 4 cameras, and then it's like a little mini stage play, because it gets edited as you shoot. And I think that's the reason we get such great drama, such great performances, because if it's an emotional scene, you don't want to have to cut halfway through the scene.
Well, many of them are emotional scenes, right?
A lot of them are, yeah, because it's who slept with whom and who shot whom, and who's dying from what. It's fun. It's a really.
It looks fun.
It's fun. I'm super bummed that I'm not there anymore.
So you do 2 of those in a day?
We shoot about 9 episodes a week, and that was when Frank Valentini came on. He kind of changed that shooting order, because before that it was really long hours, like 12 to 14 hours for the crew every single day. There was hardly any vacations, maybe over Christmas, New Year's, and you were working 365. So it has changed a little bit. So now we just work a lot more, and then we have a little bit more time off.
What time do you get home at night
Sometimes I'm actually done first thing in the morning. Like, I'll do 5 scenes, and we start at 8:30, and I'll be done at 9:30. So,
wow.
Yeah, but then again, you got to study again for the next day if you're coming in. So it never really ends the job, and you always want to be as prepared as you possibly can.
You can't be too stupid to do a job like that, because you have to memorize a lot.
And that memory muscle also comes.
Does it?
Yes, it comes.
I've always wondered about that.
Yes, it comes back. It comes back after a while.
So when you first started, were you capable of memorizing a whole? I mean, that's a lot of dialogue.
No. It's something it's a muscle that you have to. I don't know. You just have to, work it out, I guess. When I first started on soaps, I would spend the entire weekend at Paradise Beach. I would spend the entire weekend in the sauna almost, reading scripts and having 10 episodes completely memorized.
So I don't want to get personal, but as a sauna person, I was amazed to hear you say in the sauna. So this is going to be super boring for most people, but the 10% who get it will be excited. Tell us the role of the sauna in your work process.
We live in a pretty toxic, world right now.
Yeah, physically.
And also emotionally as well.
Yes.
We take on a lot of stress, and that creates toxicity in the body as well. So just from the clothes we wear, the air we breathe, living in LA, it's horrible. You just want to detox as much as you possibly can. So the sauna, I call it the old man's workout. Even though it's really hard, you go in there and you push yourself. And then I've added the cold tub, the ice tub to that as well, which you've got to get into. We'll talk about that later.
I don't know if I'm
no.
For the ice tub, I can do the sauna.
It's amazing. If you do that workout for 4 hours, you feel like you've run a marathon, and you feel like a new man, because you've taken all of that old water, that dirty water, and gotten it out of your body, and then you replenish it with new water, and you feel absolutely amazing, and especially the ice, because the ice shocks your body and moves your lymph.
So I'm understanding this, so you sit in the sauna, typical sauna is 15, 20 minutes.
For as hot as you can, yeah.
Hot as long as you can.
Mm-hmm.
What temperature do you prefer the sauna, would you say?
I think what do they go up to, the two something, right?
Yeah, probably 215 and you die, but like maybe
it's
200
really
is a hot sauna.
When you put the water on the hot rock, it comes and burns your skin on the way down, like that.
Okay, so you like a hot sauna.
Yeah, really hot.
I
really
do
hot.
too.
Yeah,
I agree with that. And then
you go in the 32 degree water. And you have to get used to that as well. It takes you a while to work up to
And
that.
what do you do in the? I mean,
You just sit there for 3 minutes and just...
You can really do 3 full minutes.
Mentally, when I was in Hawaii, I was touching on the 3 minutes. My friend was really good at it. He was like, "Yeah, no problem, no problem at all." I'm almost there. I'm almost there.
Do you go
it's meant
up to your neck?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And even the hands in, which I hate doing, like putting the hands out. But
And you go right from the sauna into that.
yes, immediately. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
Okay,
Great
sorry,
workout.
This is
Great workout.
they can maybe cut that part out, but I'm telling you, the people who are tracking with this are going to be pretty excited to know you do that. Wow. So you said that the other actors on the show, maybe because it is so overwhelming and stressful, like everyone kind of gets along. You said it's cohesive.
Yeah, everybody gets along great because you don't want to have egos on a show like that, obviously,
No.
because we don't have time for that.
Right.
You just got to come prepared, be professional, have a little fun, of course,
Yes.
and get the job done and get it done as best you can. And I think General Hospital, we do a really, really great job because we have great actors and we have great writing. And when you have great writing, it makes it a lot easier. But when you have amazing actors to work off of, like I've been lucky enough to have, that's what really makes it. Because, again, you're working off your scene partner, you're listening to what they're saying, you've forgotten the lines, and now you're just doing the scene what it's really about. And that's the magic of it, I think.
Amazing. So you have this job that you love, that you've done for decades. You've got a crew, your fellow actors, writers, like you're happy. Yeah. And into this comes COVID. How did that change the work environment there?
Well, we kind of knew that the mandates were coming a few months ago because Disney started already mandating it for their theme park employees.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of blown away that I'm sitting here having this conversation with you.
Yes.
Because I never thought that I would do this, and I also never thought that I would ever be in a lawsuit or a situation like that. I'm not that kind of person. But I can't turn a blind eye when I see people being bullied and coerced.
Yes.
So I guess in a way this fight kind of chose me. And even though I'm the one that's bringing this lawsuit to ABC, Disney, this is much bigger than me. This is about basic human rights and the freedom, the medical freedom to choose. And it's about all the people that have already lost their jobs and the ones that are going to lose their jobs in the future because of these corporate vaccine mandates. And I'm confident, and I'm hoping that we can really make an impact, with this case. I have a great team of lawyers, by the way, who I was introduced to by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. from Children's Health Defense.
What a great man he is.
Absolutely. Scott Street and John Howard, these attorneys out in LA, they're actually at the forefront of this fight. And you may have heard about some of these cases that they
Yes.
had. They got cases against LA County, LA City, and even the state of California against Gavin Newsom. And the same group that is helping out with those cases, they're actually helping me now as well, which is Children's Health Defense, Bobby,
Yes.
and a group called the PERC group as well. So I'm super grateful for that because I couldn't
but
do it without
as
them.
you're there in this idyllic world in the job you love, that's what was so heartbreaking about your video, by the way, that we opened with, is like I'm thinking I'm watching a man who really loves what he does and wants to keep doing it, but can't.
Yes.
So that is, there's something really sad about that. But so you hear these vax mandates are coming down from the corporate monsters at ABC, at Disney. Do you take it seriously? Do you think it's going to actually happen?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, because I think it was going in that direction, and we were hearing about it. So
Yeah.
And they said they were going to take religious exemption, so we put in for that, and that was denied.
They denied it?
That was denied as well. So
So you actually went with the process.
I did. Even though I'm against all of it,
Of course.
I did. I went with that. I went.
You
with the
could
process
have,
of that.
no one ever says this out loud, but I know 1 million people who've gotten fake vax cards. And, I'm not taking a position either way, but you could have done that.
No, believe me, I believe me, I've heard about that, and
Yeah.
and I know people that have them, but that's not standing up. I couldn't do that. I'm not the kind of person that can just turn a blind eye to this kind. I have to fight. If I see corporations bullying people and coercing them, I can't just do that. I'm adding to the problem if I would have done that.
I agree with you.
And so
I feel the same way. Just so you know.
Yeah, walking away. Of course, it's a great job, great income, and but there's no choice. There was no choice here for me. Taking this vaccine also goes against everything that I believe in and how I live my life. So there was no choice for me here.
Tell us what you mean by that. Taking the vaccine goes against everything you believe in and how you live your life.
Yeah, it's the healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
Western medicine has its place, I think, but we try to also avoid it as much as possible because it's not preventative. So we use alternative medicines in the entire family when it comes to that.
How's that worked, by the way, for your family?
It's fantastic. My parents my dad's 80, my mom is 77, 78, and they're not on any kind of medication at all their entire life. They hike every day in the German Alps and do saunas as well. They have a sauna. Of course, I got them a sauna.
Sauna's always, if I can just say, at the heart of all good lives is a sauna.
So look,
I agree.
To me, it's staying healthy and dying healthy as well, and being injected with something like this COVID vaccine. Personally, I don't think I need it, and I think I should be able to make that choice because if we don't choose what we're allowed to put in our bodies, we don't own our bodies anymore. And then the government owns you.
Okay. I'm trying not to slam the table.
I
totally agree.
It's so frustrating. It is so frustrating.
So here's a European man who grew up on a farm in Australia who has strong beliefs about health and life, how to live. You're not trying to coerce anybody. You're not telling people not to take the vax. You support people who want to take the vax. You're not against vaccines. You just don't care to take this one. You're not harming a single person, and they fire you for it. What do you think their thinking is here?
The way I look at this with this COVID vaccine is you would have a rational argument if the vaccine did a good job at stopping the spread, that you would mandate it at work.
Yes.
But you'd still be wrong.
Yes.
I say. But right now, you don't even have a rational argument at all, because we all know that the vaccine doesn't do a good job at stopping the spread, and we've had breakthrough cases at work, and we're going to continue to have breakthrough cases like we have all over the world.
They're everywhere.
So you don't have a rational argument to mandate it. Now you're just telling me I need to take a medical treatment for myself to reduce COVID symptoms. What if I disagree with that? I'm not spreading it at work. Why mandate it? No one's been able to answer that question. That simple question.
How does an unvaccinated person threaten vaccinated people or threaten anybody? I ask that question constantly. No one's ever said, I want to come on tonight to explain that to you. I'll speak slowly so you can understand.
No, they don't want to explain it.
So what do you think this is really about? It's okay. You're in a safe space.
Look, I think it's about control, obviously. Yeah. I don't know where we're going with this. The fact that they're doubling down on everything now, like the governments in Australia and some of the European ones, and people also don't realize that if we don't stand up to this, it's not going to go away. They're just going to keep adding to it. What are we talking now? 6 shots almost with this new variant that just came over. Fauci said it was from a fully vaccinated person. So we're talking 6 shots there already in total. At what point are people going to go, okay, maybe I'm being made fun of here with this whole thing? I mean, at what point do people go, enough is enough already, let's just call it what it is. It's a serious flu bug, right? And let's just get on with our lives. So I don't know what the end game is here, but I know that they want to, segregate us and give us travel restrictions and give us vaccine passports, and then we're going to just keep adding to that, and then there'll be a new thing that'll come, and it'll be super easy to control people because they've already given up their rights. They said how many shots? I'll take them. I'd really like to know the answer to at what point people draw the line. I already know people at work, they're already drawing the line at this next booster. They took the vaccine, but they're like, I don't want to keep taking boosters.
At some point, and I'm trying to keep my emotions in check, but at some point, don't you feel a little bit of contempt for people who are just willing to give up their bodily autonomy? If people want the vaccine and take the vaccine, I don't judge, and I think that's great.
Yeah. I do too. I think you should be
no
able to
problem
make
with
that
it.
choice.
I have
Yep.
family and friends who've done that.
Yes.
But if you don't want the vaccine and you know that you are violating your own conscience, your own view of how you live your life, you do it anyway, you keep allowing them to take away your bodily autonomy and your most basic civil rights, aren't you adding to the problem at some point? I mean, let's be honest about it.
Well, you are, I believe, because this isn't about just the vaccine. It's about your basic human rights and your medical freedom to choose. Again, this isn't about the vaccine. It's so much about
Right.
your human rights to be able to live a free life on this planet. The other thing I want to say too, real quick, because I know people are going to want to politicize this. But all of the people that are helping me right now with this lawsuit, the majority of them are Democrats.
Of course.
And
It's Bobby Kennedy
yes, of
Jr.
course, yes.
Come on.
And I've been told also that some of the people on the legal team are also vaccinated. So
Yeah.
this isn't political at all. And I know people are going to try to, of course, paint me as this right-wing conspiracy nut, which couldn't be further from the truth either, because all I care about is the truth. I don't care if it comes
You're
from
a
the left
natural foods guy
or
from
the
LA.
right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't
How
care.
are you some right-wing guy? No,
I know, but because I've been saying that I don't like the current administration, which I admit.
Well, they just took your job away, so why would you like them?
They just took, yeah, they did. They took my job away. But also, one of the things that I'm super disappointed about too is that I'm the only one that's sitting here. There are lots of people in Hollywood.
So what is that? Well, tell us what you live there.
There are so many people in Hollywood. There are many people in the entertainment industry that I know that agree with my values and my views on this, and the massive social media accounts, but they're too afraid to speak up, which blows my mind because they're all just hoping that these vaccine mandates will just go away on their own, and they're not. And I, for one, I do not want to pass this fight onto my kids, as I've already said. I think it's the responsibility of the adults in the room right now to fight this. Unfortunately, we happen to be alive at this time. You know, this isn't fun for anybody.
I know.
Nobody's having fun anymore. I think we were put on this earth to experience life in these physical bodies, to actually experience life. And I don't think locking us up, masking us up permanently, and shooting us up with a vaccine that we might not want or need is living. We have to lay value on. It's not so much about how long we live, even though everybody wants to live a long life. It's how great we live, right?
I totally agree.
There's actually a quote from this amazing Hawaiian waterman called Duka Hanamoku. You probably know the quote.
Of course.
He said, the best surfer in the lineup is the person that's having the most amount of fun.
Yes.
And I don't think people are having fun anymore these days. And I think I have to apply that also in my life right now, that philosophy, because I know I'm going to take a lot of heat for this. They're probably going to come after my family. And I just have to stay strong and just kind of, I brought my son Pohaku with me on this trip, and he actually doesn't really know it. He kind of does, but he's here for moral support for Dad. Because when we were flying over here to do this, all the news started coming out already, and reading it and everything. It's hard that there's so many mean people out there, and I guess I'm a bit naive in a way that I think everybody is open for discussion and has the ability to be rational about things, and that's what hurts me the most about this. But I have to say the fans of the show have been incredible with their comments, 90% positive, so that really gives me hope for the human race.
Yes.
So,
well, you're obviously not motivated by any malignant desire at all. I mean, I got to think 90% of Americans, no matter who they vote for, would agree with what you just said.
I hope so.
Because how could they not?
Yeah,
So tell us about your treatment. So, I mean, I don't want to add salt to an already inflamed wound.
Yeah, here we go.
But tell me, like, your coworkers, you don't need to name names or anything, but how did they, 25 years. How did they respond?
Look, the thing is, and this is what I say to people, how come they're not sticking up for you? Well, okay, let's say everybody was standing up for me and said, and one of the favorite comments I get is, I'm vaccinated, but I stand for medical freedom.
Yes.
I think that's a really important thing to say.
I agree.
If we were all, hold arms, link arms together and say, we're not taking this vaccine, Disney would have just canceled the show. And that means the crew doesn't have their jobs anymore.
Literally?
Oh, of course, that's what I believe. I don't think that
These are zealots.
I don't think we're kind of that show that's over here on the side that, you know, makes them a little bit of money and has a slot, you know? I mean, I don't think we're always skating on thin ice. We got to be super careful. So, no, if we would have done that, I think they would have canceled the show. So that's not an option. So, you know, a lot of people come up to me privately. There's actually a lot of people on the show. And I'm not going to name names, obviously, because, you know, they can confide in me. But there's a lot of conservatives on the show. That's going to start tomorrow. They got to go to work and be like, "Oh, who are they?" You know, especially the really far left ones. Yeah.
Well, you have one very aggressive political activist type person who's been on the show for a long time.
Yes.
Kind of a hater, it seemed like to me.
Complete bigot, I would say, because I love her. I love her work. I advocate for her freedom to speak.
Yeah.
I advocate for her to spread misinformation, which she thinks I'm doing. I think we should all be able to do that in a democracy, right?
Yes.
And yeah, she was really, you know, she came out with that tweet that announced to everybody. And I'm no longer on Twitter. I deleted that a year and a half ago. I think it's a cesspool of cyberbullying.
It is.
People have
it's
absolutely no accountability there. It really is. It's a horrible place. I like pictures, Instagram. You know, it's fun. Hopefully, I'll have my Instagram account still after we're done with this.
Yeah. I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah, but she yeah, right. Now I'm on the radar. So yeah, she was. She announced that because of the whole, you know, me misgendering somebody, which I apologize for as well, and. Yeah, so it was, yeah, that's that.
But you did get, yeah, she's clearly a pretty unhappy, very unhappy person, but you did get person-to-person support from people on the show.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, a lot of people on the show, on the crew. I think it's everywhere. Like I said, there are so many people in the Hollywood industry that I know that are like sending me private messages on Instagram and like, thank you. From the fans a lot though too, a ton of private messages.
I believe that.
The haters are the bots. I really think that people cannot be that hateful when they say something like that.
I agree.
But yeah, so there's been a lot of support, but I mean, it's not public support. So is it really support, you know?
I don't know. There's something, I mean, I live in not the same world, but, you know, not too far away. Mm-hmm. And there's something nice about hearing, you know, that people agree with you or support you, even if they're like too cowardly to say so in public.
That is absolutely correct. It's just, I think we're in such a fight right now. This is a kind of a bit of a world war.
Yes.
3 for us in a way, but it's silent. Nobody really knows what is going on. I think this is way more important to fight than anything that we are probably going to fight in our lifetimes.
I agree with that.
So the fact that people don't say something and it's like, oh, I just want to keep my job, you know, I just want to be safe and do all this. It's like, guys, you don't understand what's happening here. They keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. Where do you think this ends? And they hope for people like you, for people like Bobby Kennedy, people like me, to you know, to just fight the fight. And that's what upsets me. And I understand that people don't want to lose their jobs. I totally get it. It's a really hard choice. It was a hard choice. I mean, it wasn't a hard choice for me to leave because I can't take the vaccine, like I said. But
what did your wife say?
My wife is 100% on board with me.
She would have to be. You'd have to have that, I think.
Yeah. So, you know, she's been amazingly supportive. And she let me bring my son on this trip as well because I was going to come by myself.
But that's got to be a hard conversation. I mean, after all this time doing it, and you say to your spouse, you know, I can't do this.
Well, she's on board with that as well. You know,
Good.
She believes the same things that I believe in when it comes to this particular vaccine, and so it wasn't. There is no choice.
Ah, what a great picture that is.
There is no choice. So, oh, there's my lovely wife.
Oh, that's the best.
Oh,
where'd you meet her?
I met her in Hawaii. I bought my house there, and I met her running the beach. We were both working out together at Waimea Bay.
Oh, nice.
And I saw her working out, and yeah, and that was it took 6 months. I crashed and burned really badly with the first time I met her, and then I went back 6 months later, and we ended up talking some more, and you know, that was that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Rest history. 3 kids later, I have a daughter. She was just born 6 months ago.
No way.
The joy of, she's the absolute joy of the family. I can't say my life because my kids too are the absolute, you know, joy. But she, you know, we have a girl, which we we never thought we would have. She's a vasectomy baby, by the way, which is even more of a more of a miracle. Yes, yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there she is. Yeah.
Did you get any kind of refund or?
No, I did the hippie snip, I call it. Do you know what a hippie snip is?
No, I don't know if I want to know.
Yeah,
Are there rubber bands involved?
No, there aren't any. The thing is, there aren't any titanium clips to clip the ends, which you're supposed to do after you cauterize. You're supposed to tie it all up. I didn't do that because I didn't want my chi blocked. So I said, no titanium clips in my area down there. I don't want that. I said, just cauterize it and we'll hope for the best. And it worked for a year and a half. And then my wife's like, what the? I'm pregnant. So, of course, I immediately did the sperm count test and boom, something grew back together. And then 5 years later, it was a good thing because she was meant to come. My wife always knew that she was going to have 2 boys and a girl. And then it eventually happened. I mean, it's an amazing story because of the whole vasectomy thing. I remember when I had it and I cried because my wife goes, I'm sorry you're not going to have a daughter.
Yeah. You can't have too many daughters if you're a father. I have
I have
many daughters, and I love it.
It's amazing. It's really amazing.
Well, when you have a daughter, you're not going to die alone. She will be there. It's true. It's totally true. The boys would be like, he was a good guy. Whatever happened to him? I liked him. Daughter, it's like bedside vigil. It's good. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So tell me, from the sublime to the awful. Tell us about your suit against Disney. Like, what does the suit argue?
I think right now it says that it's unconstitutional.
Yes.
So it would be amazing if we can do that. And then I
Yes.
believe later on we're going to add religious discrimination to that as well.
Good.
So
that's
all I really know about. I mean, the lawyers are really the ones that are.
But so in other words, you're arguing
this up.
purely on principle here.
Yes. Yep.
God, I cannot believe you're in this. I mean, you're an actor on General Hospital, and all of a sudden, you turn out to be this sort of lion for civil liberties and democracy. I mean, this must be bewildering for you.
It's one of those things. Like I said, I think this fight chose me.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell a lie. I'm a terrible liar. My wife says, she goes, I'm naive and I believe that everybody is good. I want to believe that everyone on this earth are good people. So, for me, it just there's no choice here. I have to do this now, and I have to fight this so we don't pass it on to our kids. Like I said again, because it's not fair. It's not their fight.
Right.
And my 13-year-old boy is going to be introduced to the working world here very, very soon. Really soon. He could start already. He actually wants to be an actor. They both kind of wanted to get into it a little bit, so I would allow that. Right now, there's not even that opportunity. And when he does, become of age and comes into the working world, I don't want him to have to deal with any of this.
Yes.
It's not right. So I'm hoping that, with these lawsuits, and the ones that I'm helping with as well to bring awareness to the LA City, LA County lawsuits. The county lawsuits are thousands of people. Their jobs are on the line here.
Yes.
So now I'm getting more involved in that entire thing. I'm getting more involved with the PERT group and Bobby as well. So now now I've opened Pandora's box, right?
You might as well keep going.
So now, I have to. I guess this is kind of like a warrior coming out of me in a different way, for our freedom and our basic human rights. Again, it comes down to basic human rights.
You are a great spokesman for it because I'm trying to think of a less dippy way to put it, but your spirit is pure and you can feel that. You don't have some weird agenda. You're totally upfront about what you believe.
Right.
Your values are American values. It's like you're really...
Yes, I love this country. I'm starting to know a lot more about it.
So I got to ask you, last question. This is kind of a far-out question, but it's something I've been thinking about a lot recently. So you grew up in a family I knew a lot of, kind of educated hippie types. I don't know what the word would be in Germany or Australia, but people who appreciate nature, who are a little bit suspicious of the consumer society and of all these weird chemicals and all this stuff, right?
Yes.
A lot of those people are gone. So when this vaccine thing happened, I expected all of Marin County moms to rise up and be the organic peanut butter ladies.
Oh, I know Marin County.
Yeah. To be like, no, we don't even eat Skippy. We're not putting this crap in our bodies. Marin County had the highest rate of compliance in the state of California. Yeah. So, what happened to all the hippie moms, like your mom? Well, clearly your mom has kept the faith, but where's everybody else?
It's a good question. I don't know the answer to it.
I grew up around people like that, and I always made fun of them.
Somebody actually said to me the other day.
Now I love them.
She said, somebody said to me the other day, all of the hippies that were the hippies back in those days, they're all voting Republican right now.
Yeah, well, that may be right.
Because they're against this. I think the left went a little bit too far left, you know. And
Yeah.
I don't want to rip on democratic values, obviously.
No, I get it. Well, I believe in democratic values personally, civil liberties.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think those people, I don't know where they are. I don't know where all of the, I think we've become a weak society. We can't say no anymore. We can't speak against the grain for some reason. I think that's one of our biggest problems in society. We're just not strong enough. People aren't strong enough to go, hang on a second. That's not right. This isn't right. This is not okay.
Yes.
And I think that's where we've kind of landed. We've just become soft.
Wow. Your life has taken turns that nobody could have predicted.
No. And like I said, I don't want to be in this fight either, you know.
But I think America benefits from this.
Yeah, and like, you know, Bobby Kennedy's a friend of mine. He also doesn't want to be in this whole vaccine fight either. He took it on because he saw what was happening. I'm actually reading his book right now, Real Anthony Fauci.
We had him in that exact seat.
I know, and we talked about it. And I think it's really eye-opening. It's current. It's, you know, to my situation, I think it's and the people that are asking questions, why are we at almost 2 years of 2 weeks to flatten the curve?
Yeah.
You know, so I think the answers are in that book. I think it's
the number one best-selling book this year in the United States of America. Number one this year. So that tells you, with no promotion, not one single review. The New York Times messed with the numbers on it, but in BookScan, like the actual numbers, number one.
Yeah. It's full of facts and full of amazing history and everything about the vaccines and everything. Bobby is a really good researcher, I have to say.
Amazing.
And,
yeah,
I got to thank him because he really started this whole thing with me when I was like frustrated and didn't know where to go with this. I texted my friend. I said, "Hey, you still got Bobby's number? You know, his cell phone." He texted it to me. I text Bobby. He texts me back his address, and he says, "Come on by. We'll talk about it." Because I had questions about the vaccine mandates when all of this was going on, and we actually went for a hike together, and you know, we've been talking a lot lately. So really got to thank Bobby.
He's
Kennedy
a very humane and decent person. He said to me, "I'm not betraying confidence." I said, "Doesn't it bother you that you've basically been written out of polite society?" He said, "I've got 7 children. They love each other and they love me. So at this point, I don't care."
Yeah, family is the most important thing.
Amen.
Family is the absolute most important thing.
I just love that so much.
Yep.
I really enjoyed that conversation, and I hope that we see you a lot.
Thank you, Tucker. I appreciate it.